Feedback.
My audio is off. Please hold. All right, very good.
Good to go. All right, welcome everybody to another fun and fabulous New York Recreation Committee. First, I want to call the meeting to order. We do have enough people, enough members present to hold the meeting and to vote. So good there, but I do want to welcome a new member and associate, John Federico. So welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. And you will learn all of our names eventually.
Eventually, yep.
We won't test you based on.
All right, good.
Beforehand.
Someone leave or did, well, is it open?
No, we had an opening.
First order of business is discussion and approval of the meeting minutes. So can I have a motion, please?
Motion to accept?
I'll second it. Okay, any discussion?
Yes, I had one suggestion on page 2 where it talks about the ARPA. It says special education / inclusion programs. I was just going to suggest that instead of it saying special education inclusion, we change it to adaptive recreation because it's just more accurately descriptive. And then throughout the paragraph as well.
That's the term currently used now.
Well, it's not special education because they're not educating them and it's not an arm of the schools. That was a whole previous discussion that we had. So since this is recreation, adaptive is replacing special needs.
Yep,
But this is, it's just, it's more accurate.
that's fine, great. Thanks for bringing that up.
Just trying to find them all. I think I see 4 in there. Yeah, I see 1.
1, 2, 3, 4. I saw.
Yeah.
Find and
I
replace.
saw 5.
I got 5.
Thank you.
3, I got 3.
Okay, thank you. Any other changes, comments?
I had one, Eric,
Yeah, go ahead.
like where it says, Mike Coltman said that we would start fundraising. I think it's more accurate to say we would continue fundraising. I don't remember what I actually said, but
Continue. 3rd paragraph down.
Yep, 3rd down.
We'll continue. Probably just get rid of the starting A.
Yep.
We'll continue
Fundraising campaign.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. Anybody else? Okay, none being heard. All those in favor of accepting the changes and approving the minutes, raise your hand and say aye.
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 Although actually, you know what? Mike is on there, so I think I have to do.
Do roll call, that's right.
All right, roll call. We'll go around. Rich.
Aye. Yes.
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 Yes. Mike.
yes,
Bob.
Yes.
And yes for me. We are unanimous approval. I will open us up to public comment. And none being heard because nobody else is here. No, unless
Anyone on Zoom?
any hands, anybody on Zoom? Nope. Okay. Check that one off. Next, we have 2 amplified sound permit requests. The first one is from Remax Harmony. For an open permit at Memorial Park on May 18th with a rain date the day before. So use of sound equipment and playing some music. I am going to, just as a matter of formality, I will abstain from voting as my wife works at Remax Harmony. It's really no conflict of interest, but out of a propensity of safety, I'm going to not vote on this one. But we have.
What's the purpose of it?
It's just a gathering of coworkers and customers, and it's a picnic. Just like they just invite their customers there and have pizza and games for the kids. They invite families.
They did it last year, right?
Yeah,
Pretty typical.
it's pretty small.
We get a lot of these.
Okay.
Is that a memorial?
Yeah.
A memorial.
So can I have a motion?
So I'll make a motion to approve the amplified sound permit on May 18th at Memorial Park from 1 to 6.
Second,
Thank you. Any further discussion? Being heard, we'll have a vote. I'll go around the room again. Rich?
Yes?
Pete?
Yes.
Laura?
yes.
Mike?
Yes,
Bob?
Yes.
I will abstain.
You can take that one.
Approves. Second one is for the Reading and North Reading Chamber of Commerce on March 6th, 2025 for Winterfest, community and business promotion. It'll be on the Reading Town Common from 5 to 9 p.m. Looking for sound from 5 to 8:30. They'll use speakers, mixers, microphones to do general announcements and music. First off, anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Thank you, Bob. Any discussion? Any
This
other
is-
color to
Is
this?
this a new one?
They did
Let's
last
say,
year.
Last year,
it's been a
okay.
couple of years now, I think, right?
Okay. No pushback on anyone from anyone?
No, we had a DRT meeting about it last week and they went over the plans and the entire town is on board. Town
Okay.
manager's excited, so
Great.
I am on board as well.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
all right, no additional comments. Being heard, we'll go around. Rich?
Yes.
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 Laura, yes.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'll say yes as well. That passes unanimously. Okay, moving on. So we have Reading Little League discussion on potential renovations to Hunt Field Snack Shack.
I am presenting.
Oh, I have your slide as well.
Thank you.
too.
Big presentation,
It's gonna be real good. Does it have sound?
short and sweet.
Let's see if we can get to it.
Just a couple animations.
Six figures.
Flip them.
Yeah.
All yours, Bob.
Okay. All right, so Reading Little League would like to make some improvements to the snack shack at Hunt Field. Obviously, it's an existing structure. We're not looking to do anything with the inside of the snack shack, just looking to update the outside of it. And also, it does need a new roof as well. The town has been very good to us as far as, improving our field. So we would like to make this gift to the town in return to, just improve the aesthetic look of Hunt Field. Obviously, you can see on the screen, structural and visual improvement of the snack shack building at Hunt. We do need a new roof and siding. Like I said, no interior work is required. We do have a quote from a company, which I can get you guys a copy of the contract if you'd like. I don't have it with me right now. Zero cost to the town, like we said, was just a gift from Reading Little League to the town. And like the fully licensed insured contractor, and a copy of the contract is available for review. It's pretty straightforward, just, we just want to make it look better. And, like I said, the roof needs to be replaced as well. And I think Jim can speak to some of that as
Yeah,
well.
last year I want to say, hold on, someone is not on mute that is online. So if you're online Zoom, if you can mute, we're getting some background noise. Last year, I think a projectile went through the roof and we had a roofing company come out there and I think it cost about $800 just to get that. I don't know if it was a ball or something fell from the sky. It made, I don't know.
It wasn't a little leaguer. was it?
Round, unless someone got up there and put their foot through it. So we had a company come out that does stuff with facilities and they're like, this roof needs to be replaced. All the siding and the flashing as well needs to be done. So we did redo Hunt Park this past year, DPW did. And I think this would look great. I think it looks relatively simple where there might be some kind of, is it stone that's put on the lower half, almost like a chair rail?
I believe.
And then some nice siding
Yes.
on the top. I'd love to see kind of a concept of what it might
We
look like.
do have that. We.
Or the colors.
Yes, yep.
I wouldn't want a bright
No.
on-orange.
No, no.
Shack
we-
show up?
Neither do we.
If anything, this will soften the area.
Yes, I think it'll be more muted than what that green color right now.
Yeah, and there are spots where it's crumbling a little bit as well
Yes,
too, so.
but yeah, we absolutely can provide that. We do have some renderings.
Crumbling because it's concrete?
It's, I don't know if it's concrete or if it's like, is it like block that has like a cage and then stucco on the outside or something along those lines? I feel like, I think they might have, it's block, but then they put on like a stucco to flatten it and make it look flat. And I feel like there might be some wiring mesh that's in there to hold it all together. You'd know more, but it's not crumbling as far as like the structure
Okay.
is gonna topple down.
Is there anything on the inside you guys gonna do? Is it just the outside appearance?
Just, we clean the inside, but then we're not doing anything, structural to the inside.
Is there outdoor lighting on that building?
There might be, actually, you know what? I don't think there is. I don't believe so.
Right.
Seeing it.
Yeah, I don't
So it
think there is.
is dark all night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe there's street lighting in that area though.
there is street lighting, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Other-
You're welcome.
Yeah, other questions? So just for those of you who are new, typically when a group comes in and is offering a gift, the process is we would vote to accept it. Obviously going through the process if we have questions, then it has to go to the select board. So they will then have to accept it, and if they have additional questions, they can ask Bob and whoever represents at that point.
So I would plan probably for the next agenda in February, if we can just take a moment to put it on there to vote to accept the gift, if you guys can tie it all together in February.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would assume you want to get it done prior.
We
to-
do, yeah, that's why we kind of,
April
that was
1.
actually why we wanted to get on this agenda.
If that's too long, let us know. We can always do a
Quick Zoom.
quick
Okay.
Zoom meeting as well.
Okay,
So
All right.
once you get your ducks in a row, let us know. We'll
All
go
right.
from there and then
All
we'll
right.
get it to the select board as well. And then you can start going and probably just notify the neighbors as well,
oh, yeah,
just to give them a heads up. I think it'll be a pleasant upgrade, but you never know.
yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. We have a whole lot of awesome updates coming up. So I'll
Thanks,
turn the
Don.
floor to you.
On me, and my computer is doing great right now. So we're gonna hope it rides out. Jenna is on here. Jenna, you might be safe to go, but if I tell you to leave, the computer will probably crash with my luck. All right, so the first one is recal. I don't know if anyone attended the first public forum meeting. I don't think anyone was here. I don't know if anyone jumped in on Zoom or anyone was able to check out the slides. There is another public forum meeting tomorrow. I'll be up there as well, sharing some slides along with veteran services as well as elder services. I'm not gonna dive overly deep into everything that has been done. It is a lot. If you are available, tomorrow is a great opportunity for you to come, ask questions, provide any input you might have, and also show some support. The Recreation Division will benefit from this building. And I'm gonna be talking about how we're gonna utilize that building as well. I'll mention a little tonight, but I'll also be doing it again tomorrow. So
Yeah, just Jim did post for
Yep,
the
it is
for
posted
the
tomorrow.
meeting. So if
Jenna did that. Thank you, Jenna.
if we have quorum that attend, then we're covered. Just whoever is there would just have to call the meeting to order.
So I got some fun pictures. Has anyone even seen the renderings whatsoever?
Yeah.
It's nice photos, so we're gonna kind of show you. This is the entry view of the building. This is going on Simon's Way. I don't know where everyone's caught up to speed, so this will be Range Road, which is right off of Simon's Way. It'll be the plot of land that was formerly known as the Zani land, right off to the right side. It's kind of directly across from the front parking lot of the Burbank Ice Arena. As we go through these slides, you'll kind of see that the entire area as well. Looking at the building here, that right side with the tall windows going up, that is proposed to be a nice multi-purpose function room. Over where it says B, there is a kitchen over on that end of that. The plan right now is for that to hopefully be an industrial kitchen as well. So if the town ever starts prepping meals, there's talk of maybe there would be even a licensed cook that would be in there as well for certain events. So that would be the multi-purpose / function hall over there. The left side of the building, the bottom side, right next to the A, the left, that would be the offices for elder services. Upstairs is where recreation as well as veteran services would be as well. We'll go into a floor plan. You can't really see where the gym is from this view, but as we go down, you'll see it pop up. This is the left side. So if we were just looking at the front of the building where the cars are, this is the left side. It kind of shows a different aspect. They are planning on putting an upstairs patio off of that. They really don't want to put another room up there because the space right now is pushing 28,000 square feet. I think originally it was 27 something. So there's been about 400 to 500 square footage added. So I do enjoy that outdoor space on the top side as well. It's a little bit different, and we'll give folks a chance to get outside as well and commingle with friends that will be there. The back left side, while we're looking at this one, those are where there's going to be basically multi-purpose rooms or flex spaces. They're looking to get a gym in there that has treadmills in it. In one of the spaces, they're looking to have an arts and crafts room. And then the other ones are kind of rooms that can be adjusted based on programming, whether it's for seniors, younger kids, younger adults, as well too. This is the right side. You can kind of see the gym on the back right over there, the tall part of the building. They do have a big barnyard door they're showing that could be opened up to the outside as well. I think it's crucial to have a gym in a space like this. The team has been working on this for, you could probably say 10 years. I think it started in 2015. But now they're getting into the nitty gritty, and they've gone around to other centers as well. And I know Wilmington is building one right now as well. They do not have a gym, and all the places they've been to that does not have a gym. Whenever they ask what their biggest regret is, even if it was just a senior center, it is, we wish we had a gym. So we're hoping to get a gym as well, certainly for our end and our use. I think it will bring a lot to the community. It'll also, I think in the long term, pay for itself with rentals as well and the savings on programming. It's just another shot of that kind of other side you saw as well. All right, so now we're going inside. So this is the front entrance. The center bottom is where you would walk in. That is the lobby. That left side, that is all office space for elder services. It's really hard to read, but that's where the majority of the offices are that are over at the Pleasant Street Center. Would be on that right side is that multi-purpose or that function room. Backside is that kitchen. There would be doors to that kitchen that would open up to that multi-purpose room. I can see that room being used by every youth sports organization, rented out, whether it was for their banquets, whether it was for their fundraisers. A lot of these groups are going to outside towns right now, whether it's North Reading or Wakefield, and renting out all these spots. So this room would be utilized a lot, not just by the seniors at recreation, but also the other clubs and organizations, including scouts as well too. Questions? Yeah, if you guys have questions.
I do have a question about that. So if you're thinking of renting it out to organizations like that, is there gonna be an alcohol permit? Are you guys gonna try to get an alcohol permit?
I think that would help, but that's a question not for me. I mean, the town has gotten alcohol permits for the events that are out in the common. I've never applied for one. So I would
Just thinking, just having done fundraisers.
Yeah, you guys would still be going out of town for youth baseball if you didn't have that permit.
I think everybody would, unfortunately.
It's a good point.
Is the room large enough to hold?
Yeah, so it's 2,300 square feet. I mean, depending on the event, I know football and baseball does do a big one where they did bingo last year I went to, and there was probably 200 people there.
Yeah.
I want to say, just looking at the seats here, 20, 40, 68, I mean, it probably could comfortably hold maybe 100 only.
Right.
But the gym could also be converted as well into a usable space. So you walk into the lobby, the gym will be to your right. It will have enough space for 3 pickleball courts. It will also have 6 basketball hoops in it. It's a full-size court that would be standard for high school. High school could use it, JV teams could use it, freshman teams could use it. It's a full-size court. It would also have hoops on the north and south side, both sides of the gym, that can get lowered up and down so that we could have younger kids in there running basketball programs as well. And there would also be a divider that could run down the middle to have 2 programs going on at once.
Are there seats in there?
There are no current seats in there right now.
With all of these talk that you're saying of like the kids could do this program, the kids could do that program, and apologize if everybody already knows this but me, has it been decided that it's not gonna be just a senior center and that like, okay, so.
I'm gonna get into that, yeah, so, I mean, it's called Reading Center for Active Living. I kind of working on the mission statement right now, so we're gonna prioritize the 60+ community, especially in the morning, meaning they will have some dedicated space that will be theirs. And they will utilize as much space as they can in the morning. They'll also have some time at night, but there's also gonna be a number of opportunities for us to be in there. I see from 3 o'clock on, a lot of those rooms are gonna be open. They're trying to do more senior programming at night, but my goal is going to be to fill every single one of those rooms, that gymnasium with recreation for ages 6 months to 80+ as well too. So it's going to be a mix, but priority, and Jen has been working a lot with the Council on Aging, holding a number of meetings too, and they kind of want to make sure they do have their own little space. And I think we've come up with a plan where they can have their own little wing off to the left that may not be disturbed, and that will include rooms that are like the cafe lounge, the small little game room over there, and a card room. So when you go in there to the left, there's potential of making that almost like a 60+ community wing as well for them to utilize and come and go and have meetings there or meet their friends, have some coffee as well too, but.
All day would be just 60+ there. And then the whole thing would be just 60+ in like sometime in the morning and then sometime in the evening. Is that what they're?
So we're working on the operations
Okay.
plans right now. I'm fighting for rec to get some stuff. There's a balance, myself and Chris, we get along pretty well. And I've come from a community before, Marblehead, where there was a joint, it was a community center, it was called a community center, where the senior center and recreation were all together. And we can run some programs in the morning, but there's really not a big appetite because a lot of the kids are in school, but things like mommy and me class, mommy and dad, dad and me classes, the younger music classes, we were doing indoor playground in the gymnasium for those who weren't in preschool where they could come and run around for a couple hours. But it's hard to program younger recreation, I guess, in the morning. So our goal is to fill all these rooms as much as possible. But we're gonna be super flexible on who gets what, when they get what as well too. It's not just gonna be all for the seniors. There's gonna be I guess, working discussions on who gets what, when they get it, based on, I guess, the needs of the community. It's a good point. That's been a hard conversation we've had over the last 2 months.
So who's gonna manage?
So that's part of the operations.
That's still being worked out kind of
Still
thing?
working on
Okay.
it. Right now, I'm gonna say Jenna right now is the one that's coordinating a lot of this
Okay.
stuff. But we're still in kind of the design phase and trying to figure out operations, conceptual, what will work, what doesn't work.
Okay,
But these are all great questions, and that's why if any of you can come tomorrow, this would be wonderful, especially to show the support for the recreation side as well. It has been heavy talk about senior programming and stuff like that, so any support we can get from this committee would be wonderful, because I think there's a huge need and a huge gap that we're kind of missing, especially in the young adult recreation as well. It can be hard to plan that with the facilities that we have.
Yeah. Jim, what was the conversation like about bleachers or seating in the gym?
Bleachers, I think it would push out the space.
Of course it would, but we know from if we did
I know.
mistakes that name the school.
Killam is getting bleachers. I'm on that part. Killam 100% is getting bleachers. I think it's close to 400 people can sit in that.
Really?
Yeah, I want to say it's gonna fit 200 to 400. That was one of the things that I said.
Those are the
have.
mistakes we've made over the years.
Yep,
like
but that's a
Parker and Coolidge.
Coolidge,
Yep.
yeah.
That's a great idea. I mean, I don't know why that didn't cross my mind with this, but I was so focused on Killam, making sure we got them in there as well. But that's a good question that I
I
can
just think it's
certainly
gonna be a big regret.
Yeah,
bring up tomorrow.
Day one.
It said that when people went around to other towns to see their senior center or rec center, the
Mhm.
biggest regret was that there wasn't gym.
Yep.
But since our new school, the new Killam will have a full-size gym, do we think we need 2 full-size gyms?
Selfishly, yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
There's nowhere to play.
Meaning,
One of the high schools, so we'll have 3.
There's,
It's still school though.
they'll be filled up.
so the issue we have as well too, which are tomorrow, so part of my slideshow is like, what are the issues we have currently with the way it's set up? Like all of our programs are offsite. So it's really hard. We can't get into any of these gymnasiums until 6 o'clock, sometimes 7 o'clock when there's basketball in there, because you've got JV, you've got freshmen playing at Coolidge, they're over at Parker as well too, on these size courts that can fit people. in them, so we can't get in there until typically 6:30, 7 o'clock every single night. So all our youth sports, if we have basketball, if we have pickleball programming, they're not getting in there till 7. If we had our own gym space, we could start programming that from 3 o'clock, right when kids get up.
Yeah, I can say Killam, Barrows, Coolidge, Parker, the high school, and Wood End are all being used pretty much each evening for basketball.
Does Wood End have a full one too?
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Wood
that.
End actually has you could kind of like, if you wanted to, you could squeeze in like 2 little bleachers, but it's neither here nor there.
Wood End only, I'm sorry, is Wood End the only elementary school that has do they all have full gyms? Just Wood End.
They all have gyms, but like Killam and Joshua Eaton, you could never even have a good game. There's no room along the sidelines. There's barely room at Parker and Coolidge.
Right.
Like where the parents sit, like this is the sideline and the parents are sitting.
Yeah.
So,
And even at the end.
so right now, other than the high school, there's no good spot for spectating any basketball. Like it's all cramped in, and frankly, a lot of people end up like standing in the hallway and can't even see. So Killam is absolutely a necessity, and then in my opinion, Killam is absolutely a necessity to have it, and I think this serves multiple needs beyond like basketball. Beyond that, it can do a lot more for.
Right. If I could just jump in, the other thing is that the adult and senior community could really use the gym during the day or, in the morning.
Yeah.
That I think is one of the.
Computer. Can you get it for me?
Angela, can you mute yourself, Angela?
And there's a walking track above this, which also might provide some viewing area, but.
That's good.
Yeah.
I didn't go upstairs yet, Michael.
I'm ahead of it.
So you can see on the bottom side as well too, there's a proposed fitness area that could end up moving upstairs, right across from the track entrance. The track entrance will be upstairs. So there's still some moving parts that are currently going on. Nothing is set in stone, but we're getting very close to the cost analysis phase as well. Top left, you see that flex space. That's one of those rooms that could be used for arts and crafts. It could be used for a science program, a Lego program, a senior chair yoga program, as well as Zumba class. So that will be a flexible space for all to use as well. This is the upstairs. That right side is what you're seeing, that big gray area is the roof that is above that large function room. When you come upstairs, we're still working on the recreation office a little bit. The rec side as well as veterans. Also the COA nurse, I think, is going to be up there as well. And we also have a spot up there for expansion of our offices in hopes of getting a therapeutic recreation person in as well. So we are trying to make some space for some expansion, hopefully in the near future. On the left side, they do have a billiards room. I know some folks look at the billiard rooms, is that a necessity? With speaking with Elder Services, there's a bunch of men that are in a billiards club that they have there, and they show up regularly over there. And Joel, who's part of the BH+A group, says that the billiards room is really one of the most popular space, especially for the men demographic, as well as some women that play too. And they did recommend 2 tables, because when you have 2 tables, they can actually hold tournaments where folks from other communities are coming in as well and playing games. So that's why that was put in there. And I know COA is pretty adamant about having that in there as well. So hopefully it will get utilized. Again, upstairs is more programming space. You've got a small little kind of conference area on the right side next to the gray roof over there that could be used for meetings. It could be used for, I'm just thinking like our teen etiquette class or social dining skills class. So that room is a little smaller, but can be certainly used for computer programming. Oh, there goes my computer.
Is that an elevator?
Is that going to stay on?
Unclear.
I can still see it.
I can still see it too, but I got
Still
that,
see.
that blue screen. Let's see if it'll go to the next slide
Oh,
though.
he's got such an unhappy blue screen.
See, I didn't want to call it what I wanted to call it. So I don't know, Jenna, if you wanted to just share your screen, I don't think I'm going to allow you to screen it.
Screen of death.
Yeah, if you can stop sharing, I can share.
No,
Oh,
that is not a thing.
I can reboot. We can pass out stuff as well. I think, Michael, you have it as well, and I can scan these. I'm hoping to get my computer up and running, and Jenna, I will stop sharing and you can share.
How are you gonna stop sharing with the blue screen?
Yeah, we
So it's gonna reload.
There you go.
Next to that conference room, is that where the elevator is?
Jenna, are you able to share now or no?
Where next to the room? Elevator?
There's an elevator
Is it the right, is it right at the end of the conference room there?
to the right and it comes up.
I
kind of-
think you just have to accept, whoever's running the meeting has to accept my share, I believe.
No one's running a meeting right now.
Oh, I got it. Hold on. I got it. Can you see?
Yes,
Okay,
you can make that just a little bigger.
sure can.
Save the day, Jenna.
All right, Jenna, way to go.
That's the key.
Come in and
It's right there.
it's right there across from.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you.
I was guessing.
If you guys would have been a little more, that would be great.
Little thing there.
Right.
It's gotta be that, yeah.
Feel like it should be more.
Yeah, much better. Yeah, I think we're on the second floor. Kevin, I think you just said, was that an elevator that was next to that program? I remember that blue, that is an elevator that would come directly right upstairs. There is the walking track that you can see in that kind of, I don't know, beige color.
Mhm.
And at all of the sites that we've toured and talked about, that is probably one of the most heavily used spaces. The plan is for that to be open up mainly to the public. There will be some certain hours for the 60+ community to utilize it as well. But I think that will be a nice asset to have, and it's even nice for viewing, games as well, or anything that's happening. Love. Any questions on this layout right now, or anything outside of, I know the bleachers, that was a good point.
Yeah.
That we could bring up as well and see what the plan is. I don't know if that will extend the footprint of the building, but I mean, even if it was 3 rows that get collapsed in there, obviously there's a cost associated with it, but I think it's a good time to potentially bring it up.
Right, you want to do it before they get, you know,
Mhm.
have it as part of the cost or something, you know.
And I can see it, but I'm pretty sure I can see it, but restrooms on both floors.
Restrooms on both
Yeah,
floors.
that's one thing that doesn't exist.
So those gray little boxes that you see kind of on the middle and the top left of the track.
Yep.
And then on the other page, similar layout below. And there actually is a shower that will be in there as well, so. The plan is if there was ever a catastrophe or something like this would be utilized as like an emergency facility. So they are preparing to have a generator as well that can be utilized. I know in Andover a few years ago, they had the gas line leaks and they used their. They are setting it up to be an emergency location for the community.
So Chip, I know you guys are still working through the operations. Is there gonna be a fee structure or is this gonna be free for the community? So if I wanted to go in to play pool or use the gym, is that?
We're kind of working through that. The seniors right now, a lot of their stuff, there aren't fees that are associated to that. Few reasons, try to keep the cost low, and then there's opera funds that were available.
Yep.
Subsidize all these programs. So we are working on it. This building's not gonna just pay for itself.
Right,
So on the recreation side, I don't want to speak on behalf of the elder services. If Jenna want to jump in, she could. But we're still gonna charge for programming
I can see that, right.
as well, but things like if there is a gym in there, there is a track upstairs as well. Will there be an option for a resident to come in and spend $50 and come in, show you a little car that you have to go in there as well? I think there will. I mean, we're trying to make it as much of a community center as we can.
Yeah,
But there certainly could be some costs associated with that, so.
okay.
Again, another good question to bring up to the panel and those
Yeah. Mhm.
that are designing tomorrow. Did we lose you, Jenna?
Oh, no. Did you want me to keep sharing? I thought you were done.
If anyone has any more questions just on that, I think the next slide that's on that same one, Jenna, is gonna be the updates on some pickleball. I would try to log back in, but I know my computer is gonna do the exact same thing.
No worries.
Get that looked at.
All right, so updates on pickleball at Simon's Way. We've been meeting pretty consistently consistently with Activitas. They are our consultants that have taken on this project. Before we get started, pickleball and the Recal Center are two separate projects. We're trying to go to Springtown meeting and get them both on the warrant. So there are separate items right now. The original concept, what we tried to fit in there was 8 courts. That was the maximum we wanted to get in there and what we thought we could get in there with the land. If you look at this photo here, or the one that is on your pamphlets that we've handed out, you will see that yellow 35-foot buffer line that is bumping right up on the corner of the northeast side, I guess, of those courts over there. There's really not a wiggle room. That buffer is from the wetlands. So we need to try to stay as far away from that as we can. And in speaking with conservation, DPW, our parks department, they brought up a few concerns in our last meeting, meaning if we are to build these courts, there's gonna be some movement of materials that are gonna go into that buffer zone. You can't just build these courts without pushing the grade back as well, and it not getting into that area and having an effect on that buffer zone. Outside of that, there are a lot of trees over there as well too. So there are gonna be trees that could potentially come down. If a tree does come down back there and it falls on a fence, we need to have a way to get back there. So a tree truck will need to get back there to possibly remove some fallen limbs, or hopefully not too many fallen trees on the court. The other thing is these courts, we're planning to light them. If some of these bulbs do go out on those corners, it would be very difficult to change with the layout of this court, and we'd have to have vehicles drive on the court, but we also have fences inside the court as well. So the fences aren't, made for trucks to drive through them as well too. So that was brought up as well. So we started with the 8. You see there is one court that is larger than the other that is an ADA compliant court. The town is pretty adamant about having an ADA compliant court. This is on the larger side. It could go a little bit smaller. But the town and the assistant town manager want to make sure we do have a full ADA compliant court in there as well. So this was the original plan. The next one is, Michael, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that in terms of ADA compliance, it's really important that the gates to all the courts are wide enough for the athletic wheelchairs, which are wider than regular wheelchairs. And that's what makes them ADA compliant. That larger size is a recommended size for wheelchair play. And we've contacted the Wheelchair Pickleball Players Association. US Wheelchair Pickleball Players Association, and they would say that the courts that we have there, all of the courts are adequate for wheelchair play. So I just wanted to be clear about what ADA compliance means and what that larger court is a really nice thing, but it's a recommended size that most places don't fit in. And that it's really important that all the courts are ADA compliant, and that means the gates have to be right.
Yep. I agree. Jenny, you can go down to the next one where you're gonna see it go from 8 to 7 courts, and it creates more room behind. There was talk of having parallel parking up on Range Road. If Recal is to pass, I think there'll be ample amount of parking there, and we have spoken with the Burbank Ice Arena as well to come up with some terms. For example, if the pickleball courts were to get pushed through and Recal was not to get pushed through, what would be the plans as far as parking? If you look on the top right side, Burbank Ice Arena does have that gravel parking lot in the back. We would look to utilize that for parking until we could come up with a plan for parking where you can see the Recal Center lot is right now. There would be, I'm amending to the lease. I know Jane Wellman was gonna be working on that to come up with some language in there if we are utilizing that lot for liability reasons as well, to make sure that the rink is covered as well as the town is covered as well. But it does provide a nice buffer looking at the courts this way. And you can see, I think number 4 up there, There's areas for gathering and waiting and shade structure for the folks who are waiting to get onto the court to wait. Up on the top right court, which is the larger one, the bigger ADA court, there is going to be a handicap spot up there as well for the vehicles that are needed.
What's the boardwalk? I noticed on it, what is that?
So that is something that I believe was in the original master plan. So that would be something for conservation. As far as a boardwalk, that would wrap all the way around the center. It would go into the wetlands. There would be bridges that would be built on swamp areas as well. We're not 100% sure if this will be part of the project. Jenna and the team met with conservation last week. And they are pushing for it.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that still have to happen with conservation. There is a lot of tree removal that happens, and a lot of times in situations like that, there's mitigation involved. So it could be, you know, if we do this and then we're gaining this, we're more apt to allow this to happen as well. So I think we have two more meetings with conservation in the very near future. But we are looking to get initial costs on this. I believe it is in the next week or two is what they're telling us. So I'll probably have more updates on that by the end of this week. Any questions on how we got here? Any concerns?
We know how you got here. Hard way.
And so you said lights will be part of it as well?
So we are gonna get pricing for lights. We want
Project.
lights to be on this facility as it is heavily used, and it will be able to spread out at least the playtime throughout the day, not just during the light hours.
Yeah.
So our goal is to have this be a fully lit 7-court place. And I did some research looking around at other communities. The biggest site that I saw with the most amount of courts is 8. I think it's out in Westfield, Massachusetts. All the other towns, I think the most they had was 6. So this would be one of the bigger complexes, and it's certainly needed. I really think 8 would have been great, but 7, I think 7 still is a great number. to have.
7's better than nothing they have right now.
It is. And we feel as if this is gonna be the most cost effective, and this is gonna be probably the best plan moving forward for town meeting to get this through.
Yeah.
And we are still on pace to hopefully get it there for April. When I say there's a lot of meetings going on, it is daily, just with the amount of boxes that have to be checked in order for this to go to vote.
I just wanted to say that the pickleball community, everybody that I've talked to is very supportive of this concept.
Anybody else have any comments? Otherwise, I'd like to, I saw Angela has her hand raised. Okay, Angela, are you with us?
You gotta unmute.
Oh, sorry, thank you. Angela Binda, town meeting member precinct 5. What is the number of parking spaces per court that is estimated?
I mean, based off it, you gotta look at max potential of 4 playing on each court, so that would get us to 28, and then there would be the mix of potential folks waiting to get on, so that could be another 20. With the parking, there will be some parking that is over at the Recal Center if that is to get through, but the plan right now is to utilize the back lot of Simon's Way for parking. So I mean, I could see it being a full court, having 15 cars there, you know, every hour and a half, and then when you get the transition times and the reservations, another 10 coming in, so I would say 25, and I think Recal Center and Joel with BH+A has done studies based off of the design, and I believe there is 90 total parking spots that are in that Recal Center, and that's not including the back gravel lot that Burbank Ice Authority said that they'd be more than happy to share with us, and they'll benefit with this site as well too during their big events where there'll be shared space where they can park as well over in the Recal Center lot as well. So they are open to working with us to make sure that there is ample parking. I don't know if that answers your question.
Okay, so we're looking at 25 or 35? What did you say? 15 plus? Did you say?
It depends. Michael would have a better idea. I don't know if I'm sure there's going to be people that show up in one car, whether it's, you know, a household that shows up and they're playing one-on-one, but I mean, I see more 2-on-2 play down there as well?
Yeah, I would imagine some 25 to 35 at peak times. You know, summer afternoons, evenings, that kind of thing.
Okay, because this, just disappeared. But with 7 courts, I didn't see any dedicated parking to pickleball. Is that correct? With, I saw it with the 8 courts, but with the 7 courts, is there any dedicated parking? Can you go back to the?
I think
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to I had to unmute, so I had to bounce back and forth. So if both of these projects pass, the intention is that, you know, with the large amount of pickleball folks and the amount of people that would be in Recal, that the intention would be for the pickleball people to park just only behind the Burbank Ice Arena. And again, there has been a lot of conversations with the pickleball community and with Burbank about this, and they're open to that, because if this project doesn't pass, say if Recal doesn't pass but pickleball does, then we wouldn't create a paved parking lot for just the pickleball people.
You would not create a paved parking lot if Recal does not pass, because when I look at the 8, I see dedicated parking for pickleball.
So Angela, I'm not sure if you caught it, but Jim explained earlier that that was the old plan. The new plan is the seven pickleball courts, no parking in that spot, so that there is a buffer zone to the wetlands behind it.
Yeah, the 7 got pushed up.
So this, the seven pickleball courts is the updated plan.
So you're right, and there's no parking with it. So you will either utilize Recal or Burbank Ice Arena parking.
Correct.
Okay,
there are a couple, I think at least one
Handicap
space.
One handicap space.
on the top right.
okay. So you're building 7 courts with no dedicated space, but you'll be using Recal if it gets passed, or Burbank Ice Arena.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other, just conscious of the time, any other questions or comments on pickleball?
Memorial at pickleball as well.
That's the conversation I think we gotta have with RPP. I know it came up, I think, in the last meeting, Michael, as far as keeping Memorial Park as an additional spot. I think we have to take a really hard look at that. The neighbors, you know, have been pretty kind with us right now. If we are building 7 courts, we certainly gotta show that these 7 courts are gonna be utilized as well. And I wouldn't be opposed to giving some respite to the folks that have been in front of Memorial Park as well in that parking lot. They do still reach out to me as well about pickleball being there too. So my goal would be to make this function so that we do not need to use Memorial Park. That would be my goal. And it's a conversation we can have, Michael. I'm sure you got opinions as well.
I think we just have to see what happens in the future, you know, where the growth goes, what happens with it becoming a high school sport, and all sorts of things. I don't like to predict the future. As I said, the future is hard to predict.
Yeah, and there will be 3 pickleball courts indoors as well too, so for those who don't.
The key is that this would be the premier location in town. What happens elsewhere is, you know, let's figure it out when the time comes.
There'll be a lot of logistics that go in there as far as, you know, who's coming in there, who's getting first priority, as well with other towns, you know, probably everyone's gonna be looking to come here. It's in a kind of central location, so we'll have to really look at the logistics as far as, I know when we did the community tennis courts down there, we had to have a monitor that was being paid by the rec department to make sure people were getting on the courts when they were supposed to and then getting off as well. I've done that in Winchester. There's different ways to do it, so I'm not trying to look too far ahead right now. Right now, this is a lot, so get through this, and then we'll start planning on all the logistics of how it's gonna flow and how it's gonna work.
Okay.
Right, I mean, I would just make the comment that right now there's 4 at Memorial and there's 4,
Over by the high school.
non-compliant courts at Birch Meadow, and at times they're all used. So it's hard to predict the future.
Agreed. Okay, let's move on to Barrows.
All right. Barrows, I don't know if I have slide. Was that my last slide there, Anna?
That was your last.
Yeah, that was your last.
Now we gotta go to my cheat sheet. All right, so Barrows. Thank you, Jenna, for doing that. So Barrows, our field upgrade, we, DPW took care of all the infield this past spring. The grass took, it looks great. I know Little League's happy with it. The final part of that is replacing the backstop in the current fences. There, I think I had mentioned in our last meeting, we did go out to bid. I think I mentioned the bid numbers that came in. The lowest bid for dugouts as well as a large backstop and fences to protect the dugout came in at $123,000. The second closest was $142,000. So bid documents were sent out to Premier Fence and they were awarded the bid. I have a pre-construction meeting with them as well as DPW and engineering tomorrow to come up with a game plan. The Parks Department's gonna be involved in that as well, just to make sure, you know, it's not gonna affect their maintenance of the field or the cutting of the grass. And I hope to have a timeline that I can share with Little League as far as when they're looking to do there. It's gonna all depend on the weather, whether they can get through the ground as well too, but the plan would be to get it done prior to the Little League season starting up. I think the games start April 27th is when the first games are on a Sunday after vacation week. So that is the plan, just to complete that field project. And then we'll start looking at other aspects over at Barrows as well. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done at Barrows. Any questions on the Barrows field or the fence project?
Sounds great.
That one seems very easy amidst all the other stuff.
You guys did a good job.
And I also didn't mean to skip over Birch Meadow phase 2.
Birch Meadow phase 2. Jumping back on the agenda. So what we're planning is a public information meeting night for Birch Meadow phase 2. I'd like to pair this up with our next rec committee meeting and have it over at the Pleasant Street Center. This will be an opportunity for those in the neighborhood to see where we are. We are finalizing kind of the design. It really hasn't changed much from probably when you saw it maybe 5 months ago. It's the 2 courts, some additional parking in front of the tot lot, and then an update of the tot lot as well as some paths that are going along there. What I can say is there was supposed to be more spots put up at the upper parking lot near the Little League field. After engineering, looking at it, the consultant, I'm not sure we're gonna be able to get those in there. I think we're gonna probably get rid of those so that we can move this project forward. The number per parking spot, I think when you looked at it and what you had to do to get more parking in there, I don't wanna say the wrong number, but it was close to $15,000 to $30,000 per spot. So we'll still be adding some parking. It'll be on the Bancroft end side. The things we're working on now is trying to figure out what type of playground equipment we're gonna have in there. So once I get kind of design plans, which I don't want to show too early until we have this meeting, I'll share them with you as well. But Activitas will be there, the town engineer will be there, myself will be there, and then hopefully the neighbors will show up as well too. So we're gonna send out certified letters to all the abutters, inviting them to come and let their voice be heard at that meeting. So if you can put that on your calendar, I think it's February 25th. That'll probably be our recreation committee meeting for that night, 6:30 PM at Pleasant Street Center. The plan is to start construction in July. They would have to get bid documents out by May 5th to get that rolling. So the plan would be to start up after school gets out and a lot of the major activities down there are completed.
Will, like, parking lot by majors, will that be affected at all?
We don't know the staging area as of yet. There could be an area that could be affected. I don't think you're not gonna see as many trucks, I think, as you saw the last go round for the phase 1, but once we figure out the staging, we'll let you know. You might have to utilize the field house parking lot a little bit more.
If we do, we do.
Yeah,
Their kids, they can walk.
Yeah, I'm thinking more, we have basic games there, so it's people coming in and.
Oh, yeah.
As long as there's a porta potty.
Competitive advantage, confuse the opponents before they get there.
Make them park instead.
Make them walk.
Have Reading only parking spots.
Any questions? Excuse me,
No.
on phase two?
It's a good idea to have that public meeting and we'll coincide it with our meeting.
Yep.
So yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so the next agenda item, program coordinator report.
Yeah, in my world, so the two kind of bigger winter programs that we have going, Sunday basketball and shoulder ski program, they both have 2 weeks left, which crazy, time flies, but they're running smoothly, which helps everything go by so quick. But yeah, lots of positive feedback, it's really been great, our staff down at Sunday basketball does a great job, honestly, I rarely get, if I'm not there, I don't get phone calls at all, I probably just bother calling with text updating, like, everything good, he's always like, yeah, great, so. Makes my life a little bit easier and,
They had about how many kids on the Sunday program?
so the junior has 104 kids for kindergarten and first grade. And the second biggest is the second and third grade boys with close to 100. From there, it's like. falls a little
400,
bit,
probably 400 plus, 400 to
but
500.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'd say it's usually.
Big.
kind of
That's a lot.
100.
Yeah.
But yeah, throughout the day, yeah, probably about 100, so. And then, yeah, Neshoba was another 100 kids that we bring up there every Tuesday, so on 2 buses, so.
It's been great. It's been wonderful. I don't
Coaches do it all.
that program whatsoever. It's been really good.
Knock on wood.
Is there skiing?
Oh, they ski.
They do.
They ski really well and really fast and
We
yeah,
almost never hit each other.
I know, we've been very fortunate.
Wow.
Another program that's been pretty successful this winter is our special skates program. We had 34 registrations this winter, which is by far more than we've had any other winter. I think, kind of those trips we've been doing has helped because there's a bunch of kids who have done those that we've built relationships with and with the schools and got the word out with that more. Really helped with registrations and I've spent Saturdays down there and it's just been wonderful.
I think it's almost doubled, right? What was the next highest?
21,
21, so we've-
25, so, yeah,
great.
so.
Good
yeah,
job.
Decent amount more. I do want to point out on December 12th, we had an intergenerational, holiday music bingo event. Which had probably 50, 60 people attend, Pleasant Street Center was packed full of, grandparents and kids and everyone in between. I just want to point out, because I feel like they really embodied the idea of an intergenerational event and it was a lot of fun and just thinking of the future and what the Recal Center can bring. I just see a lot of more opportunities at moments like that, so I thought it was pretty cool. February 5th, we're doing another competitive puzzling event back by popular demand.
Sold out already.
Really? So I'm excited to see what that'll turn into. I mean, obviously it's something different and that's something.
It's intense.
Fun events.
I've seen, my son sent a video of it and I was like, what is this?
Oh,
But they were like really intense.
You can't see the puzzle. We got a little bag that it's hidden in there and we start the clock and they can't open the bag. You can't see the puzzle before you open it because they start cheating, but they open it. And then all of a sudden you got mom is in charge of the edges, dad's in charge of this color and this color, like.
My friend was just got
It's
back
amazing.
from that competition in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
500 piece puzzle. They did it in 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
My goodness.
I thought exactly. 300. Kill me. 6-month project. 2 years later. What are we doing?
Yeah.
All done by
I
color.
think it was an hour and 28 minutes.
Take the blue, you take the red.
Every
go.
puzzle is missing one piece.
Four-
Just like my house.
No, it's been a great program.
Very cool.
Then been looking ahead to summer stuff. This month I reached out to our summer vacation staff from last year, seeing who's returning. Last year we had 34 staff for the summer and we have at least 31 returning for this year, which is awesome.
Nice.
I still haven't heard back from 2 of them yet, so it could be as many as 33 or 34 returning, which is pretty amazing.
It's great for now, but then when they all graduate and get jobs and we're hiring 31 new staff,
Yeah.
it'll be
Yeah,
tricky.
that's true.
But it's a great problem to have right now.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, shooting to have vacation and registration open on February 18th, which is a Tuesday. And then I've just been working in constant conversations with vendors and instructors for the rest of our summer program offerings. And then again, staying up active with the MRPA, the monthly meetings. The one we just went to on Friday in Chelsea, Jim and I went to, and they had a presenter there that we're looking to bring in for our summer vacation staff orientation, so they're definitely beneficial things for us to attend.
Yeah, it was called, I think, Merge Group, and they specialize in inclusion programming and making it part of your culture in camp as well. So we're hoping to have them come out there to speak with our staff and do some one-on-one trainings with them to help with the inclusion aspect of our summer camp, which I think will be very beneficial. Great.
Wow.
Lot going on.
That's awesome.
Questions?
Thank you.
on any of
Yeah.
that?
No, the ski program has been great. It's a lot, and Ed's done a great job with that. I've done it 18 years, and there's no way to, it's a challenging program, but you gotta put a lot of trust in the kids, and I think that's why these parents are signing their kids up, because they do get a little freedom. They get on the bus, they're responsible for carrying all of their equipment, they're responsible for remembering where their equipment is. They're responsible for time management, where they go out there and we say, you need to be back at this time.
What's the grade level?
So we start at third grade and we go up. So we have a bus full of third and fifth graders, 48 of them, and then we have a bus full of middle schoolers with 50 of them as well too.
Then you go home and drink.
Yeah. Didn't say it. But we do have some volunteers. Kevin's wife volunteers as well. She's been a big help. She's been on my bus.
Middle school bus.
Yeah,
Oh,
She did the elementary school bus last year.
but it's a great program, so it's been very successful, and kudos to Ed for making sure that's been running without a hitch. He will be going alone tomorrow because I will be at the public forum meeting, so good luck, Ed.
I've heard Jim's threats to the kids get very creative on the bus.
Yeah. All right, I think it's me now.
All on you.
I'll try to be quick.
Okay.
These are kind of some potential future projects that are kind of falling. It seems like a lot is falling on the spring. I want to do as much as I can, but I also don't want to lose too much more of my hair as well in the meantime. We have Reading Youth Softball. They came to us about 3 months ago looking at the Driscoll softball field, the lighted field over there. And they would like to potentially fund the replacement of the fence there and upgrade the large backstop there. I don't know if you've been there before. It's a little, the way the field is set up, those fences aren't lined up overly correct. The dugouts, they sit way close behind home plate. It's kind of wide open. And the dugouts aren't similar to dugouts that we have, whether it's for the boys' high school team, even you look at our Little League and our softball fields, those dugouts right there that our high school girls use are probably one of the worst ones. So youth softball is looking to do something similar that Reading Little League is doing, and possibly donating the funds to have those upgrades. It would include a dugout as well as a dugout in front of the fence. I'm not sure if they will replace the backstop. That's really the only spot, the only fence that is appropriately placed is that large backstop. What their plan would be to actually paint that. I don't know if it's like rhino coating it, where it's like getting that black vinyl on there so it'll look like the other fence opposed to rigid metal look. So the company that they reached out to said that they could make that happen. So I'll be in talks with them, and the plan for that would be to get it done prior to the softball season, if things go right. I know they're looking for the vocational school to see if they can build. They've built, I think, 4 different dugouts in this area. I think North Reading, I think they did.
They did the majors at,
Little
they
League.
did majors at Hunt, actually.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they've been going.
They did a good job on them. Majors.
Massachusetts, and they've got it down pretty good, and you're just paying for materials. So that's what youth softball would look to do as well. So it'd be a nice community service project for those kids. Morton Field, Moscarella Park, I don't know if you've been over there. Those windscreens have seen better days out there. They are starting to get very tattered, torn. It looks like there's even, I don't want to call it mold growing on them, but in the left field, it looks like there's some kind of moss or something that has started to grow on those as well. So Friends of Reading Youth Baseball reached out to me and asked if we could possibly help with the replacement of those. It is a field that we maintain and we do take fees for. So I did say I'd speak with them if they could help subsidize the cost a little bit. I think the cost would be approximately $4,500 to replace all of those windscreens that are in the outfield. Ice rinks are fully functional -1. All of them have good ice on them right now. DPW, who I want to give a shout out to, have been great on getting out there and getting on these rinks and using, whether it's their green tractor, snow blower, their brush out there. They'll go out there even when it doesn't snow, when kids are on there because the ice buildup, so they do get out there when they can. After the first storm we had that dropped 3 inches, they did go to Sturgis, the one closest to the lot. And unfortunately, there was a very soft spot in ice and the tractor kind of went down a little bit. It's not the first time, probably won't be the last time. So there is one rink right in there that is very icebergy ice all throughout it. So it's not being utilized because they had to get a truck to get the tractor off there. So if you hear anyone talking about the bad ice at Sturgis, there's 2 other rinks there. So,
Yeah.
and there's 2 other locations with a giant rink and 2 other at Memorial Park, but it's been good. And all the lights have been turned on, no issues with the lights. There are some lights out that are over at Castine, which is by Birch Meadow. I did put a call into RMLD to see if they can get those fixed, and been a little bit, I'll follow up with them this week.
It's great seeing them use,
Yeah, last year we got one week.
I've been down there. It's been great.
Really is,
It's
yeah.
been
We got
great
one
seeing them.
week. But yeah, DPW does a great job
Yeah.
maintaining those. If they don't get out there after that first snowstorm, that turns into hard ice and
Yeah.
it's hard. And then other issues, if they don't get out there, then people, which is great, they get out there with their shovels, but then they're piling it up and they're making banks, and then it
Yeah.
kind of separates a lot of these rinks too. So we've been very lucky. And then just last update, with the high school floor project scheduled to go on in June, we're kind of scrambling, hoping to find some space. I did reach out to Austin Prep to see if they had any space there, in case we couldn't get any indoor school space. It's pretty costly to rent out Austin Prep, to say the least.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So that we would have had to bump up a lot of our programs, $50 to $75 per person, and I didn't want to do that. So I spoke with facilities and begged them to give us some gym space, whether it was Barrows, Woodend, or Parker. And they were able to give us 2 weeks in the summer at Barrows, which will help out with our boys basketball program, our girls basketball program. And then we do have Woodend to help out with a volleyball program. All of our other summer programs, we just need to hope that it does not rain a lot, because they are all outdoors. But we have a solution. So hopefully things go as planned. We have a dry summer like we did last year.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Any questions on anything or any future things you want to remind me of to look into or get on
You guys
the
did a great-
radar?
You guys did an awesome job.
I think you have a lot. I
Yeah.
think you have a lot on your plate. You've done a lot on a lot of existing things, so it's fantastic. I will make a quick comment on the volleyball. That's really great that there's going to be something this summer for
Yep.
volleyball. Is that going to be new, or did we have it last? year?
Last year it
Was
was,
last year the first year we did it?
we've had it for a while. Last year was tough to, our instructor, I think, was having a tough time scheduling. She did do something, right? It was small,
No, we ended up doing it.
but Michelle's been doing it for a while. Michelle Hopkinson, the girls' varsity coach.
Good.
With all this project going on, I don't know if Jenna's still in here. Jenna has been on the forefront. Jenna is in more meetings than I've ever seen anybody be in. So she's pulled me in when I've needed to be pulled in. Hopefully I'm helping here and there, but Jenna's been very, very busy with a lot of projects and helping me when I had questions as well. So she's even on right now when she doesn't feel well, so I appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you. The rec team's been awesome to work with, very collaborative. And we're really excited for the future projects and to keep things moving in the right direction with Recal and everything else. So many thanks. And thanks to you guys as well.
Great. Thank you so much, everybody.
Busy agenda.
Mhm.
Anybody have one more motion?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Second is Rich, and we'll go around the room. Rich,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Yes.
Mike, Bob,
Thank you.
Yes,
and yes, and we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
thank you.
Denison? I just want to ask about the